Hello, everyone, and welcome to Gamersledge podcast. Come on in, sit down, relax, have yourself a nice glass of mug root beer, the caffeine-free alternative. My name is Mark. I'm one of your hosts. Joining us tonight for our panel, starting all the way at the far left, all the way from the Great White North, which is no longer really the Great White North. It's Kate.
We're still great.
You are still great. Make Canada great again? Is that how that works?
We were always great.
That's right. And joining us
we
to her right,
bad, so we don't need to be great again.
Joining us to her right is, of course, Matt.
Howdy.
And in the Twitch chat already, Bacon Guy is here. He says he's here for the GLs. That's right. That's how you roll. We'll talk about that in a minute.
It's all about the GLs.
That's right. Welcome to Gamersledge podcast. It is a conversation amongst friends, a look at the video gaming industry, and a look at what it means to be a hardcore gamer. We have so much news tonight in terms of what's been going on, because we've actually been off the air for a couple weeks. But just a lot of sickness going around over the last week. Matt's still recovering, so I'm glad he could be here tonight. Dave is actually down for the count. And I'm still telling him he needs to live stream his day tomorrow. But he's having like 3 wisdom teeth removed. He's got another doctor's appointment and a bunch of stuff going on. And yeah. So let's start as we do.
That's where all his wisdom is.
Yeah, I actually think he probably took some disadvantages to get this wisdom, and now they're taking him away from him. So he's just going to be stuck with the disadvantages on his character sheet. But that's just me.
Oh dear.
He rolled a nat 1 for wisdom score.
And he failed his critical save against wisdom tooth removal.
That's right. So let's go around the room as we normally do and talk about what we've been doing since the last show. Kate, let's start with you.
I haven't been playing that much in terms of video games. I've been working, been playing D&D. I've actually been watching. I'm almost finished both seasons of Daredevil. Like, I thought I should catch up on some Netflix stuff because I haven't watched anything. So I've been doing that. I'm almost done. Season 2 is pretty awesome. I can't wait for the Punisher series. Because
still haven't watched it. I know.
Who are you?
I know.
Who are you?
It's not my fault. I keep waiting for the wife unit and she never wants to watch it. And I'm like, I'm going to watch it. But yeah.
This is the pro of not having a wife unit. I can watch whatever I want, whenever I want. But I sleep alone every night.
This turned dark real quick.
Which podcast did I tune in for?
But yeah, no, I haven't. I played a little bit of Mass Effect Andromeda, but I might actually go in tomorrow and see like what the patch changes do. But I actually kind of want to wait until the further patch because they're actually like adding content and stuff.
For which game?
I don't know.
For which game, Kate?
Mass Effect Andromeda.
Oh, right, yeah. We're gonna that's part of one of the news stories. So go ahead and tell everybody what's going on.
Oh, they're there's a patch tomorrow to fix like buggy stuff. Like some, eye stuff and that, but they're also going to be a patch later on to add some content, like quality of life stuff.
Yes.
So I might wait for that. Especially because the quality of life stuff is all Scott romance options, which, I'm really happy about. Because when I saw something where they broke down all of the like romance options by like sexuality, like male shepherd / rider, they included shepherd and rider, male to female, female to male, female to female, and male to male. And the male to male is actually like really, really pathetic in terms of options. So I'm glad that they're addressing that. And they're also addressing some things that there is a transgendered character in Andromeda, and there was, some people who didn't like the way that they handled
Mm-hmm.
the conversation, so they're changing that.
And the conversation consisted of, "Hi, my name is X. I'm trans." That's pretty much, yeah.
Which is like, that's the way white Republicans think that trans people talk. Hi, I'm trans. Let me use your bathroom. But what else? I think they're fixing some stuff like animation bugs. The Asari and human eye animations. I'm not sure if that's in the tomorrow one or in the later one. I can't remember. I think they're actually probably going to fix some other deep-rooted animation stuff in the later patch too.
I just want to know if they're going to fix the thing that makes me question reality, which is when I see the gap through the Garrus character's race's mouth
and the Turian.
Yeah, and the teeth the Turians, and the tongue are moving independently to force the lips to make the words, and it looks like you've just looked into the secret of the universe and nothing is real. If you were to open a clock, it would just be a vacuum in there with parts spinning around.
Well, maybe your mind will be blown and that's the way it's supposed to be because they're aliens. I don't know.
No, but you would think their teeth are attached to their jaw. And this was not the case.
Maybe. I don't know. I'm not an expert in Turian exobiology.
I think they've given us enough human what am I trying to say? Human form / alien similarities that
I know, I'm giving you a hard time.
Yeah, I know. But yeah.
What else did I even play? I downloaded, like, they had a big Resident Evil sale on the PlayStation Store. So I ended up getting, like, the PS4 version of, like, 4 and 5. And I ended up getting 6 too, because it was in the bundle, even though I really was just like, why am I downloading this game? It sucks. But maybe I'll play it on PS4 and see, like, what the up-res is like. I'll definitely play 4 and 5, because they're really fun. That's about it, I think.
Matt, how about
you? I'm really,
you?
like, looking... I don't know what else I played. I don't know. Just watching stuff, I guess. That's it.
Then Matt, how about you?
Oh. And today I read the new Overwatch comic. Sorry.
Oh, that's okay. Did you like it?
I did.
I know that they're alluding to what the next thing is.
It's a new event on Tuesday.
Oh, is that what it is?
Like, there's going to be an event. Yeah, it's like going to probably be... Because the comic... Did you read it?
I did not.
The comic leads up... They actually did it a lot differently, where it's like almost like a Flash animation.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like the panels... Like,
oh, no, they have that for all of them. I've got all of them.
Oh, they did that for all... I thought the other
They did it for every single one, and that's how I recommend you do it, because they actually have the... they don't have the lines read by the actors. No,
they don't.
But
in this
they have
either.
they have a bunch of sound effects
and
all that stuff. Yeah,
it would have been awesome if it was read by the actors.
Yeah, I wish, but no.
But I think the event is going, because the comic leads up to the event that happens in King's Row. Before, like, not when Tracer Widowmaker's Alive short happens and Mondada is assassinated. It's before that. The event is going to be, and I think it probably will play like Junkenstein's Revenge, in that you select certain heroes and it's kind of like almost like a little contained story. Whereas, like, in Junkenstein's Revenge, you had like the 4 characters fighting against Junkenstein and Roadhog and Reaper and Mercy. So I think that's probably what this is going to be like. And there'll be new skins.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, so probably guessing new Tracer skin, Blackwatch Genji skin, maybe Blackwatch McCree skin. I don't know. We'll see how right I am. Yeah.
Matt, how about you?
It hasn't been a ton since last we talked. Let's see. I finished Tomb Raider, the original remake, redo, reboot, whatever, the one from like 3 years ago.
You mean a year ago?
No,
no,
the-
the one,
The original one. The
one that
original
came
one.
out
Oh.
one that came out on
Oh.
PS3 360, but this was the PS4 definitive edition version. So,
Gotcha.
yep, I had never actually sat down and played that through. So, did that. That is a very good game. I see why people were enjoying it and why I got a sequel. So I have to work on getting the sequel at some point, but so did that. Did not platinum that because there's multiplayer trophies, so meh. There was the Final Fantasy 15 Gladiolus DLC that came out.
And,
Oh, dear.
Dogs barking
Dogs
everywhere.
are-
Yes.
They're killing something. Yeah, the Gladiolus DLC. I'm really still trying to figure out what exactly they were shooting for, but I'm pretty sure whatever it was, they missed it. But
Well, give us a quick
Yeah.
breakdown. What did you like about it? What did you not like about it? How long did it take you to beat? Because this was their big promise. In my mind, was they were going to give us character centric DLC after the release of the main game, and this kind of sets the tone for all of that.
yeah, it to play Gladiolus. If you played through the game in the storyline, it takes place exactly where you thought it took place. You go to a part of the map that's been previously inaccessible. You don't have access to the world map, but you go into a place that you see continually as you're going through Lucius, but you can't actually get to. Lucis, rather. But so, yeah, once I realized where I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. So that was cool. Gladiolus feels different enough than Noctis in combat that it feels different, but it's still primarily hold circle to kill things.
Well, they weren't going to
It's not-
change it that much. They're not going to like
No.
change the core gameplay. for the
No,
DLC.
but instead of warp the warp strike abilities, Gladiolus abilities is basically limit breaks. So you basically have a bar that builds up, and for each of the thirds, I think it is, you build it, you get a different limit break kind of type.
So it's
special
like how
attack.
they work with Noctis. Like, I haven't actually played it yet either.
What-
'Cause,
what's
like,
the name of the
like, you build
blonde-haired
up
one?
their
Prompto? Yeah.
Prompto, yeah.
Yeah, Prompto's triangle button is going to be get skinny.
Sure. So you hit triangle and he does one of the special attacks depending on how far the bar is charged, and then you get after you beat it, and it only takes. It's really only about an hour long, stem to stern. If you watch all of the things and like take your time pushing the buttons to select stuff, maybe an hour and a half. But it's really only about an hour of content for the story part of the mission. Feels pretty short. Considering how they set it up, there's only easy and normal, and I only played it on normal, and it's not really a challenge, considering the challenge that's being
15
put.
itself is not a challenge.
Well, no, it's not. But even by the standards of that game, it's not. So as much as they build it up as, and it feels hollow, especially since the extra boss that you play from the menu selection is Core, and he's a billion times harder than anything that you come up against in this impossible challenge that everyone's died that's tried to undertake before. That just feels weird. But you're right. The game's not hard to start with, but it just didn't meet the expectation. And then you've got the stripped down version where you just play for score, There's trophies for 500,000 points, million points. I played through it once and got 492,768 points or something like that. So I just missed getting the lower trophy. There's I want to say 10 trophies. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. No, 8 trophies. 2 for the timed attack, 1 for finishing the story, 1 for, I forget exactly, 1 for finding all the items. Because basically it's a boss rush mode with long hallways in between is essentially what it is. So you've got 4 bosses you're going to fight, a few enemies along the way that don't really matter, and the main point of the hallways is to collect potions and Phoenix Downs. Not that you really need the Phoenix Downs, but every once in a while something might hit you hard enough to take you down. You're level 24 for the whole thing. You don't get to select what weapon you use. You're given a stock weapon. You can choose between the fatigues with or without the jacket.
So I guess my question is, is it fun? Because this does not sound fun.
It was fun to go through the first time just to see what it was, but it wasn't like, if I gave it it's probably like a 70, 65, 70 if I was going to score it.
Okay.
Right.
I would be interested.
So
I'll be interested in seeing what happens with Episode Prompto.
Episode Prompto looks a lot more promising.
See, that's part of what I was going to say. Out of the 4 characters, Gladio is the least bankable. He's popular and given the least attention, whereas Prompto is probably the most bankable. So they'll probably put their focus on Episode Prompto because they're like, oh, everyone likes him more, which I disagree with because Ignis is obviously the best one.
Well, we agree there. But yeah, there is a teaser for Episode Prompto at the end after the first time you finish the story mode. So there's that. There's
Really? You guys like Ignis the best?
Yes.
I mean, I like him, but I actually kind of think I do like Prompto the best.
Prompto's got his own charm, but I don't know.
Prompto did the most to be there, I guess, is in my mind. That's the equivocation for me. Like, both Ignis and Gladius were already doing that, and they're there because they kind of have to be. But Prompto was the one that actually worked his butt off to get there and doesn't have the training and still puts his life on the line. To me, he's actually the most heroic of the 4 of them.
He's the most larger consumptive of Phoenix Downs.
That's also true. Not disagreeing with it. He is made of paper mache because he did not train in the military.
Neither did Ignis.
No, Ignis is part of the military.
No, he's not.
He's a butler.
He's a butler.
He's in the Crown Guard, but that doesn't mean that there was.
Yeah,
but he had to train to get into the Crown Guard.
No, he's there because he's there too. He's like Ignis's manservant. Not Ignis. Ignis is Nox's manservant. He trained because he wanted to, not because he had to.
Well,
and he was
right,
but
Ignis is the parent in this situation.
Well, no, yeah, I get it. No, I agree with that.
He's totally the mom, and because it's like Gladius is the dad, this is the mom, and Noctis the Prompto are the 2 kids.
So the worst thing that this thing did, aside from just feeling kind of off the way this set up versus execution, is there are cutscenes with between Gladio and Core, but it's done via the conversation dialogue thing, like what happened in the car when Prompto wanted to know whose picture he should take more. It did it that way, except it was like Gladio be like, "Hey, so what was life like before?" And then Core will say, "I'll tell you if you want to know." And then you go to the discussion thing, and your choices are talk, don't talk. And then if you pick talk, the rest of the cutscene plays. If you pick don't talk, the cutscene stops and you keep on going. So it's really poorly implemented. If you were just going to have these little chunks of
Funnily
story,
enough, though, that's perfectly in character, though.
okay, yeah, true.
The only other way it could have been more in character is if there had been a third option just called cup noodles.
Well, that's what they're eating. That's the only choice. You don't even get to choose what they eat. They sit around the campfire with cup noodles.
Because they don't have Ignis to cook good food for them.
I want to know how much money Cup Noodles got out of this partnership deal. They had
got
to
an entire mission that's nothing but a commercial.
There is, yeah.
For cup noodles.
It's the
amazing.
cringiest thing in the whole game.
It's amazing.
You get to fight a behemoth, but you know, oh man.
Okay, so
I suppose that all depends on what option you choose. Anyway, so play that. That was really while I was in the throes of the illness, I really couldn't even play because I just couldn't focus enough. I did download all the Plus games for April, but the only thing I got a chance to try was 10 Second Ninja X.
And
Speed.
how was that?
It's I think it's pretty good for what it is, but it's one of those games that if I let myself play it too much, it'll drive me absolutely nuts. It's a kind of, I'd say it's Meat Boy meets Mega Man with a ninja dressing. So you got a level, and you've got to kill all the enemies in the level in frame without hitting anything that kills you, and 1 star, 2 star, 3 star. So whoever is eating ice needs to
I know. Yeah, it's not ice, it's paper bags. Sorry.
But yeah, so you have to so it's a speed run thing, then there's stars, so how quick you do it, you get 1 star, 2 star, 3 stars, so then of course automatically the 3-star mania kicks in. And all you have is jump, swipe, and 3 shurikens. And you know, 5 seconds to finish the level. So if you've got a few minutes, you know, and you want to pour going through a few levels or trying to master one to get 3 stars on it, by the third screen of the first set of levels, I wasn't able to get 3 stars. I couldn't get the last 0.2 seconds off my time to get it, you know. So it's not easy to get 3 stars, but it's not hard to complete the levels, if that makes any sense. So
it does.
So yeah, that's really it. Finished Legion on Expanse, except for the episode that's airing right now. Watched the new Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. that came out last night.
I forgot it even came out. I haven't. Yeah, I need to watch it.
Yeah, it's people expected out of the framework, but they did some stuff.
Okay.
Anything else super interesting? No, I think that's about it.
Well, I have been playing Star Trek Online
I did the one other thing I did want to bring up. I now have a copy of Mortal Kombat X.
Oh, nice!
Because who has been hanging out here a lot. His dad works at a consignment shop, and they got a sealed copy of Mortal Kombat X for PS4 into this consignment shop. So he got it and gave it to me as a thank you gift for letting him hang out so much.
That's
nice.
of him.
Yeah, it's really nice.
So, yeah, so Mitchell's been pouring some hours into that.
That's cool. So for me, I've been playing Star Trek Online. I'm getting dangerously close to maxing out all the reputation. Like there's, I don't know, 9 or 10 different reputations in the game. What I mean to say is that I am getting dangerously close to maxing out all of them. Meaning that they're like the grindy thing you do in the game for endgame, I'm almost done with it. Pretty much.
And you haven't even finished the story of any of your characters yet,
so no, I'm still working on that. The amount of content now in the game compared to what was there when I stopped playing the first time is so much larger that it's not even funny. I'm in the Delta Quadrant right now, and I think there's like 37 episodes, and each episode takes a minimum of an hour and a half to finish. And
wow.
Yeah, so just the Delta Quadrant alone, I think I'm on episode 13 or 14. I have been trying to get the rare trophies because the platinum is bugged. There's one trophy that you can't get that keeps everybody from getting the platinum. But I started going down the rabbit hole of one of these others, and it was a lore collectible. And I was like super excited because I found out that the lore could actually be bought and sold on the auction house. And so I was like, oh, I'll just buy my way to this. Well, it turns out that the one I started on has something like 27 chapters, and there's anywhere between 1 and 9 chapters per, or 1 to 9 parts per chapter.
Jeez.
And of course, some of the chapters go for 2,000, energy credits, and then some of them go for 7 million energy credits. So it's like, yeah, I'm not going to be buying all of them. So I've been building up money, and then I'll go attack the thing. And I've got a spreadsheet now, so I'm in heaven. I've got a spreadsheet where I'm like, okay. I have chapter 3, parts 1 through 6. I'm missing part 4. So let me find that one on the auction house and buy it. Okay, that one's done. Move on to the next. So that's what I'm doing. And there's 2 of these collectible things. And since I don't know exactly how many chapters there are in the whole thing, I don't know for sure if I'm getting close or not. But yeah, still working on it. But yeah, that's pretty crazy. So that's that. A friend of mine, Chris, who is in a lot of the multiplayer games that we've been playing on the streams, had asked me to pick up Final Fantasy 14. And it was on sale, so I did so. For those that know me for a long time, Final Fantasy 11 was the bane of my existence. I played that game like obsessively and addictively for over 5 years, and I said I would never do it again. And I played 14 when it came out, really liked it. Well, I'm sorry, I played it the first time when it came out, it was horrible. And then I played it again when they redid it, and it was actually really good, reminded me a lot of 11. And so towards the end of last week, from Thursday forward, all I was doing was grinding Final Fantasy 14. And I fell asleep 2 times while playing it and decided I did not enjoy it, and so I stopped. And so that's it. No more Final Fantasy 14. Yeah. And I've also been playing Clash Royale still. Played a little Derp Effect Andromeda, which I don't know if I'll be able to keep calling it that after the patch. I actually don't want to download the patch, to be honest. I'm actually thinking about taking my PS4 offline because I still want to make that little featurette about Sarah Ryder going through all this stuff looking like she's slightly insane and or not paying attention during all these key pivotal, like, super emotional beats. But yeah.
It's kind of, as far as Andromeda's going, because it's been a while since I've been playing it, I was like, maybe I should just start over and switch to Mail Rider and see, redo the scenes that I've done.
Mm-hmm.
And see the difference in animation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then this week I've been playing a little game called Persona 5 that dropped. And we have 2 discussion topics about Persona. But I'll get to that in a minute because I want to talk about our playthrough, which leads into the first story. So we are streaming the entirety of the game right here on Twitch. And it's pretty cool right now. Bacon Guy said earlier he's here for the GLs, and I said we talk about that. So we've added a few features to our Twitch channel. Now, for every minute that you watch, you actually earn what's called a GL point, and you can use these GL points to interact with us. You can redeem them to, for example, if you want me to spend time with Anne in Persona 5 at the next point where I have an option to figure out what I'm going to do, you can spend 30 GLs, and actually I will do whatever the audience tells me to do. So right now, Bacon Guy's got one queued up. It's in the can. He wants me to do like a part-time job, but I haven't actually unlocked the part-time jobs yet. So as soon as I get the ability to do that, I will go do a part-time job. But it's pretty cool. So our community is actually affecting the playthrough. Now, the reason I wanted to talk about that, we also have a couple different things going. I think for 200 GLs, you can actually tell us what game you want us to play out of our library, and we will spend an evening playing that on stream. Yeah, and so there's actually some more things that this is going to affect coming down the pike. One of the days of the week, which we're still finalizing what one now, there's actually going to be a Shadowrun role-playing game that will be here on the channel, and players will be able to use their GLs to give us advantage or give the GM advantage as we are playing the story, so that it affects the outcomes. And my character is going to be playing a decker, which is basically a hacker, and so I'll be using the Twitch chat as some of the chatter as well as we're going through. Yeah, so that different ways that we're working on that our audience can interact with us as we're doing stuff. But that leads us into our first discussion point. Yesterday, Atlus USA put out a very large post on their website basically mandating that streamers not stream past a certain date in-game. So the game is a time management system in Persona 5. You basically work through every day of the year. Game starts at the beginning of April, and they're saying if you stream past July 7th in-game, they will throw not just copyright claims, but copyright strikes against streamers that do this. Which is the most insane idea I think I've ever heard of. The game's been out for 6 months in Japan. So if someone's wanting to go look at any part of the game, it's already online.
What? Like, have you looked into what the subject matter is?
So they say that the reason that they don't want to do this is because it's a single-player, story-driven game, and they don't want it to be ruined for other players. I'm like, this makes no sense whatsoever, because first off, July 7th is actually a long time in the game. I'm already 10 hours plus into the game, and I'm only on April 22nd, I think, and I'm level 7. You're right. Yukisu says it's against the legal agreement. You're right. It's their terms of service. They can do whatever they want. But I think it's a really dumb idea, since the more, like, for example, I'll take Mr. J Nice, who's one of our regular viewers, and even Bacon Guy. Neither of them play JRPGs, have ever heard of Persona, and Bacon Guy's been watching me. He's like, I'm trying to understand the game and understand, what you're doing. Is it fun, etc. So, as a streamer, I'm exposing people who would have never given Persona a second look to the game, and then they can decide on their own whether it's something they want to invest their money in. Even if they say no, it's at least exposed them to the point that maybe 2 years down the road, or 4 years from here, when they come out with their next Persona game, maybe they'll say, oh, I remember Mark was streaming it and it looked kind of cool. Maybe I'll pick this one up.
And that's like one of the things about streaming is it gives people like you said, who wouldn't normally play that game, a chance to check it out. Maybe they won't buy it for themselves, but I know I like watching other people play Dark Souls more than I like playing it.
Sure.
Because it's cool to watch, and like the environments are really pretty, and but the thing that's like made me like facepalm is it gives the impression that it's like we have to police spoilers. It's like that's what people do that have to do for themselves. Policing spoilers is on you
Well,
only.
if the media provider were conscientious about it, it's on your
Correct.
own, because it is thrown in your face a lot as someone who is constantly behind on stuff.
Yeah, I agree with I agree with both of what you're saying. I do think there is a implicit thing that people should be able to make their own choices whether or not they want to be spoiled.
Especially when it's like already been out in Japan. Like, that makes no sense.
Yeah, that's the part. And Atlus USA was very clear to say that these are not their rules. It's Atlus Japan that is mandating this. But what
I could maybe understand it if it was like 1999 again, where like Twitch and like all the internet gaming news and all that isn't a thing. So like a game that came out 6 months ago in Japan is going to be a lot harder to spoil in America back then, because we didn't have like the instant media thing and like, you know, localization dates and imports and stuff mattered back then. They don't matter now. So this seems like it's something from 20 years ago.
So,
and now it's just like, why are they doing it? It makes no sense.
So all of these points are valid, which leaves us with one option: money.
And that's the prevalent thinking, is that the more people or prevalent reasoning behind why they would say this is they think the more people that would watch it would not buy the game, especially if you're putting the whole playthrough up.
And if the streamer's making money off of the people watching it, then the person's making money that they, in theory, could be making themselves if they were selling a copy of the game.
Well, and that's the weird part.
It's free advertising, though.
But that's the weird part, is that today, as of today, which is one of our news stories, if you're watching on Twitch and you're a partner, if you're big enough to be a partner with Twitch, you can sell the game in Twitch.
Yeah, like those YouTubers who are, or not YouTubers, like Twitch streamers and YouTubers who are like big and have like, you know, 5,000 plus people watching every time they stream, they sell copies just as well as a TV commercial, probably even better. So it's like, because normally someone will be like, oh, I wasn't sure about this game. I'll watch this person that I really like play it. Hey, it looks kind of cool. Maybe I'll get it too.
But then I guess that's where I see the time limit making sense then, right? If you're willing to let the streamers be an advertisement for you and you're willing to let them do whatever, someone should be able to make their mind up on whether or not they want to buy the game before halfway through. Does it make sense in that context? I mean, if that's their motivation, then
most people will have made up their minds in an hour.
Right. So
Yukisu clarifies his statements in that no, he's like, he feels they're breaking their own spirit of their legal agreement. He said, I heard heard a person saying it's like ordering a pizza and then they tell you can't share it with your girlfriend. And I don't know that it's
analogy. That's a good analogy. No, I think that's a good analogy.
No, I mean, because there's a difference from me taking the disc and giving it to Matt, right? But if I'm streaming their IP, they are the
whole rebroadcasting.
Yeah, they are the license holders and the IP holders, and I get it. But the thing I don't agree with is a copyright strike is different from a copyright claim. Like, I get copyright claims all day, especially when I stream Rock Band, and that just means that, well, in that case, nobody gets the money because all the music people are fighting over the cancels itself out. But a copyright strike actually makes it so that for like 6 months on YouTube, you cannot upload a video that's longer than 15 minutes. So you are actually not having them take your stuff down. It's taking them down and adversely affecting their channels. Mm-hmm. I was going to actually port all of this over to YouTube. Now I am not. I am going to stream the entire game on Twitch. I am not backing down from this because this is a journey. I want to do it with friends. And
it's another thing too. Sorry, go ahead.
No, Facebook currently does not have any controls of that nature. So that's actually where the archives are living. Because Twitch, after a couple hours, Twitch gets funky and it starts segmenting up the video in weird ways. So right now, if you want the full episodes of every night that we play, it's on Facebook Live.
And the thing is, too, even if they're in their rights to do it or whatever, it's creating a lot of bad press.
Yeah. Oh, well, let me jump ahead.
And on top of the other bad press that they're getting, it's just making people angry at them.
Which is kind of weird because, they have had... Atlus has had a lot of goodwill from gamers over the years. And it's like suddenly they took a pay...
You lose all of that when you start frigging with people's ability to put videos on YouTube, because a lot of people use that for their job, right? So anytime anything like that has ever happened with them, like doing something with YouTube that affects people streaming and this and that, it always makes people super, super angry at that company.
So while we're on the subject, before I actually start talking about the game, let's get to the other piece of news that came out today that is not going over well with their community, and that is that an interview was put up with the Persona 5 director, and during the interview was asked a question of why isn't there a female lead in the game, or an option for female lead, because they have done that in the past. Persona 3 Portable allowed you to actually choose to be a boy or a girl. And he said, and I will say that the media kind of blew it a little out of context, because what they're reporting, Polygon's title is Persona 5 director, says that adding a woman would not have been, quote unquote, not worth it. But what he said is, honestly, to put a female character option into the game, we'd have to cut out other things to compensate for the workload, and every time that's a situation, we'll basically say it's not worth it. And I get that with Persona's very deep character-based interactions and romantic subplots and stuff, it's not just a gender swap. Like, that could be a big thing. However, as we went on, there was something else. I'm trying to find what it was. But a lot of people are taking that kind of somewhat... Oh, yeah, here it is. When asked why, whereas Persona's 3 storyline was well suited for a female hero, and Persona 4 and 5 are not, and they asked why that is, his explanation was, with the way that game's world worked, it was okay for the protagonist to be female. With Persona 4, though, we needed the character to come from a big city to a small country town to be the driving force of the story, and it seemed more natural for a male character to fulfill that role.
What?
I'm not really sure that's a justification. I mean, you can go the other way
Women
as
not
well.
Allowed to move away from big city, confirmed.
I guess it's really
What?
So there's two problems with this in my mind. The first one is there is a whole lot of other culture noise being lost in translation because it is a very different culture there. So I'm not, but I'm also not justifying it, if that makes sense. I'm just saying there is some stuff that is lost in translation. But number two, I think the other thing is that the way it's being reported, while troubling, I think is being blown out of proportions in a SJW kind of way. I don't think it's... I don't know. I think the game speaks for itself, and I am a little disappointed that people don't have options in choosing whether to be a female or a male. But I think that in the next Persona, we probably will see it. This one's been going...
answer, the first answer was just a project manager. I mean, that was totally a project manager versus a PR guy answer, right? It's like we had 2,000 hours to build this game. We had 30,000 hours worth of work. We had to parse it down to 20,000 hours, whatever. I screwed the numbers up there. You know, a program manager talking versus a PR guy talking for the first one. For the second one, it sounds like a culture thing. It's like you rationalizing that the Prompto episode of Brotherhood is just fine, you know, because it's Japanese. You know,
right.
Like the exact same thing.
Yeah, no, and I think that's part of the issue. But it's still weird that they're not having. Either this guy was never trained in PR, or something, because these are not good answers, and he should have been clear in his answers. So,
yeah.
But
how much does he deal with Western media too? If he's used to dealing with Japanese media, I'm sure that's a completely different experience.
Well, it's actually still was Japanese media, then picked up by American media.
Okay, so yeah.
So that's I think part of the
3 or 4 layers of translation loss there.
Right. So yeah, that's while we're on the subject of Persona, by the way, Persona 4 in a flash sale on the PSN on Vita is $8. So if that's still running, you need to pick it up. You owe it to yourself to pick it up, because that's really good. It's one of my favorite games of all time, as a matter of fact. But let's talk about Persona 5. So Persona 5 has come out, and I think that I just said that Persona 4 is one of my favorite games of all time. The story writing, the character building is so well done that you leave the game regretting the decisions you made because you didn't spend enough time with the characters to balance out other aspects of the story, which is always the case. They build this in like a very mean way. I think that the characters that I have been introduced to so far are on par with the quality of the characters in Persona 4. The music and UI in Persona 5 is dynamite. The UI is probably the best UI I have ever seen. Load screens are hidden behind videos that, like, for example, if I get on a subway and it needs to load, people from the sides of the screen walk in like they're moving into a subway, and you hear the subway move, and you watch them bustle for a second, and then they all exit, and your subway pulls in and it moves to the overhead perspective, and you get off along with all the people. So it's this crazy weird, you're constantly in motion. Like when you finish a battle, when you finish just a normal battle where you've not done a super special attack, which are pretty cool also, but when you just finish a normal battle, it will cut to your party and the main character is there grinning, and then he turns and starts to run away from the group, and as he's running, the XP shows up in front of his fist, and you press X and he runs a little bit further, and the gold appears up, and then the items appear up as he's running. And then when you're done looking at those things, he starts jogging and then starts walking, and it cuts to the overhead. I mean, it's all seamless. It's absolutely... And it's done with this... I mean, if I had to pick something else... what's the spaceship... oh, my brain stopped working. The Space Pirates... guy with the gun and the thief... in
Cowboy
Bebop. Yes, thank you. Oh my god, my brain stopped working for a second. It's got a very Cowboy Bebop vibe to it, that kind of aesthetic and feel, and it's really good. It's like really good. My only criticisms with it, and I'm still early on. I'm only about probably about 10 hours in. My only two complaints with it is that they have this comic book insertion where they like tear the page and it's the guy's eyes and you can see them reacting with their eyes, and it's a cool effect, but they super overuse it all the time. And so that's a little, I mean, that's a real nitpick, but that is kind of annoying. The other thing is actually that the movement controls are really floaty for some reason in this one. So when you are, it's fine when you're running in a straight line, but if you need to do like move over here to get behind a door or something, sometimes it seems like it's delayed just a little bit. So that has caused some problems in battle for me before. But man, there are a ton of systems in this game, and they are all executed very, very, very well. I can already tell that this is going to go super deep. I think I'm going to do more Pokemon crafting, Persona crafting than I've ever done in this game, because there just seems to be... They brought back something from the original Persona that's been gone since Persona 1, and that is the ability to talk to the bad guys in a fight. And when you talk to them, you can actually bargain with them because they're demons. And so you can talk to them, and through the choices you make in that conversation, they might leave you items, they might give you money, or you can talk them into serving you instead of whoever they're serving. And that's how you acquire new persona in this game. So that's kind of really cool. And sometimes you can only trigger that by the way you used to do an all-out attack. And an all-out attack in the old ones is you had to find the weakness of all the personas and then attack them with it, and then it would knock them all down. And at that point you could press triangle, and your team does what's called an all-out attack, where everybody attacks at once to all the bad guys, and it usually does wipe them out or kill them. So you have an option, instead of doing that, now to talk to them and start this bargaining process. And so it now becomes... And one of the other things they have introduced in this game that has not been prevalent since Persona... God, it's either 1 or the first 2. Because there were 2 2s, if you weren't aware. I'm not sure which one it was. But there are guns in this game. The evil part of it is that you can only refill your ammo in the real world, meaning you have to completely exit the dungeon, which is not something you do often when you are in the middle of a dungeon, because the dungeons are quite large, when they're now called palaces. And some persona are only susceptible to being shot with a gun as their weakness. So if you're looking to capture them, you have to micromanage your ammo supply very carefully and figure out how you do it. So it's kind of interesting. So yeah, the game story is very dark right off the bat. Definitely not for kids. Like, the first thing you tackle in the game is an abusive ex-gold medalist who is now teaching volleyball at a school and physically abusing kids, and possibly close your ears or something for a second, or something. Hold on. All right. Or possibly underage forced sexual relationships. Like, that's the very first story arc right out of the gate, and it's crazy. You're good. Thank you. It's pretty dark. Like, and the worst part well, not the worst part, but if you played Persona 4, that game was pretty doggone cheery. It was upbeat and it was happy, which is a departure from the series. But you were a happy kid. You were in a happy environment. Your circumstances were good. Whereas this one, the game basically starts out that you tried to save a lady who is being assaulted by a drunk, and in doing so, by just separating them, the guy fell down because he was drunk and got hurt, and then he sued you, got you arrested for assault, and basically got you expelled from school. and now you've been paid, or a guy's being paid by your parents to house you because they found a school in Tokyo that you can go to. And this aforementioned teacher leaks your criminal history to the internet so that everybody knows about your circumstances and makes it hard for you at this new school. So you're going from, like, if you played through Persona 4, it's all like happy, yay, happy, teamwork, yay, to like the most oppressive possible thing. If you like Persona 4, let's give you something 180 degrees from that. So it's kind of crazy. But the story is engaging. It's done very well. There is a lot of swearing in the game. It's not Wildlands level, but there is like a lot more swearing in the game than we've ever seen in previous instances. So that's kind of the only unusual thing there. But so far the story is excellent. The controls and the gameplay is really, really fun. And I'm really digging what they're doing. The only other thing that I have noticed, and it's not a complaint, it's just weird, is that they changed the voice for the guy who's playing Igor, who is one of the iconic characters in the game. And he's normally like he's a really good comparison is the dad in Despicable Me. He's up until this point sounded like the dad in Despicable Me, and now he sounds like Barry White in front of a bass boosting microphone that's cranked to 10. And so when he talks, like, the entire room rumbles, and I'm like, that's not historically what he sounded like at all. So every time I hear him talk, I am reminded that's not what he sounds like. So it's kind of weird, but it's not really a complaint. It's just different. But so far I am super, super interested. I'm very early in the game, so I just now finished out my party. They do have a mascot, as in every other game. Don't know the story of the mascot yet or anything, but so far not annoying.
Is that the cat?
Yeah, it's a cat named Morgana. But then I also really liked Teddy in 4, and there were a lot of people that hated Teddy. So I may not be the best judge of characters for mascots. But yeah, if you're looking for a role-playing game that's a little more on the serious side, but also gives you a ton of choice, a ton of challenge, and a ton of Pokemon hunting, and then combining those Pokemon to make new Pokemon with inherited powers from the parent Pokemons, then this is the game for you.
By putting them in a guillotine, apparently, from the trailer.
Yeah, no, that's the other thing. I was like, oh, is that how we're doing that this time? Okay. Yeah, literally you throw tarps over them, push them down into a guillotine, and then cut their heads off. And the heads roll, and then form the new Pokemon. The new Persona.
And I'll form the head Pokemon.
Yeah, no, it's like, I was like, this is kind of morbid, but okay. So yeah, not a game for kids. Don't let young children necessarily play it. But yeah, I'm enjoying it so far very much, and I'm looking forward to getting deeper into the game.
I'm looking forward to getting around to playing 3 someday.
So, I really want you to, but I almost think you should just skip right to 4. 3 is really good. 3 is like my second favorite in the series. I'm not counting 5 as existing yet because I'm not finished with it. Like, 4 is my favorite, 3 is my second favorite. But I think you would be, because they are standalone stories and you've waited so long to do 3, I would say just go right for 4, because you're gonna put a ton of hours into it anyways. I fully expect this playthrough to be 100 hours, and I will still have missed stuff in this one. I put 112 hours into Persona 4, and I want to say I started to grind for the platinum early on, but then I realized I had missed some stuff, so I wasn't going to do another playthrough. But I would say just don't even bother platinuming it. Just play it. Play it and do it casually and just enjoy the story. Because I know you. You're like me, especially when you get a game you like, you want to platinum it. Don't do that. Just, if you decide I want to do a platinum run of Persona 4, great. Do that after you finish it the first time, and then go find a guide and do the day by day so that you get the platinum. Because otherwise it is so hard to do that it's not impossible. It's just you have to figure out, and there are stuff that you can miss if you don't do certain things on certain days. So use a guide and do it that way if you want to platinum it. I would highly recommend just play through it. And personally, use your Vita. Because Persona 4 Golden for the Vita is the best version. In fact, it's the only version on it.
So how many platinums do you have, Matt?
Right now, 20.
I've got half of that.
Yeah, I don't have many, because it usually ends up being something like that where the trophy list is just something ridiculous, or everything nowadays also has multiplayer trophies. I don't bother with multiplayer trophies, so...
I think I'm at 2 or 3. I'm not sure. It's not many.
No. And half of those are from just finishing a Telltale game.
Yep. Oh, you know what? I might have 4 then. Because I finished Wolf Among Us, I finished Walking Dead Season 1 and 2.
2 didn't have a platinum, though.
Oh, it didn't?
Nope. Remember, they did it weird where it was core game and then everything else was a DLC to it, and it didn't... Yeah.
And I haven't finished the Borderlands one.
I think Second Son is your only...
Yeah, I think Second Son's my only non-Telltale platinum. I'm pretty sure you're right.
Yeah.
I'm at 10, but I haven't played any Telltale games. So none of mine are Telltale games.
Now you're making me question. I must look it up. But I was going to do Star Trek, but it's bugged, so I'm actually a little upset. And that would have been extra points because it's an MMO. So I was super excited about that. But it looks like...
Someday we're going to have to delve into trying to figure out why the percentages are so different between what the PlayStation shows you and what PSN Profiles has.
Well, yeah.
Because those are radically different numbers for percentages.
Is there a way for me to... Let's see. I'll compare with you. You are... what's your name?
Neo-Sapien.
Yeah, I know. I'm scrolling through the list. I can't do 2 things at once. That's impossible. I'm a guy. Neo-Sapien. Okay. Wait, why does it not show you on here? Oh, because you're under Matt. That's why. There we go. All right.
Well, that's the real names thing.
Oh wow, you're 60% ahead of me. Damn it. So is there a way just to see like how oh, I have 4 platinum trophies. Is there a way to like just see what platforms? Nope. Refresh.
Not that I'm aware of. Oh, you just got to scroll really fast.
That's not good because I have 1 billion games on my list. Okay, I'm not that. Yeah, 4 sounds about right. That would be Walking Dead Season 1, that would be Wolf Among Us, that would be another Telltale game, which I have to figure out which one. And then
Game of Thrones.
Yeah, that's it. Game of Thrones. And then yeah, you're right. Infamous Second Son.
And actually, Wolf Among Us is kind of, you couldn't get it from just playing the game. You had to actually go back and replay certain chapters because that one made you take both choices of key choices.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
To get the platinum. So
that let's jump into okay. Do you have any questions? I actually do have one piece of reader mail question about Persona 5, so we might as well tackle this now. Hippie Jesu asks, how is the game so far? It's amazing. I'm really enjoying it. I'm trying to... I've been hyped for this game for over a year, but I tempered my expectations because we've had so many games come out that have not lived up to the hype meter that had been accompanying them. And so with this, I kind of got myself into low-key mode right before it came out. And I am enjoying it very much. I know that this is one that I am going to finish, and I will play till I finish. And then I will start on the backlog of stuff that I have, because I don't think there's anything else coming out in the immediate future that I can't live without. But yeah, that's
so. It is still turn-based, right?
It is. It is still turn-based. They
Is
have
it
some.
ATB or
No, it's straight up old school turn-based.
Okay.
So meaning that like you can walk away from the game on your turn, and it will sit there forever. They have some interesting mechanics in it though, and one of them has always been a Persona only thing. If you hit an enemy with its weakness, it immediately throws back to you, and it says one more, and you get to take another turn. Now they have a thing called pass the baton. So, what will happen most characters can only use one persona. The main character can use multiple personas, but he can only switch his personas one time per turn, right? So if you've got a collection of monsters that you're fighting against, and let's say 2 of them are weak to fire, one's weak to ice, and one is weak to water, as an example, and you're on the persona that has fire, you can hit the first one, get a 1 more, hit the second one, get a 1 more, change your persona to the one that's weak to lightning, and zap them, and you get the 1 more again. But you can't change personas again, so there's no way for you to knock down that 4th one on your turn, right? So they now have a feature called Pass the Baton, to where I can then take that 1 more and give it to another character who has the persona that I want, that I can then use the water weakness on that one and knock everybody down, and then do the bargaining or the all-out attack or whatever the case may be.
Okay.
So that's an interesting way to kind of manage your resources amongst your own party, because they've never had that option before, which I think is super cool, because now you can really take advantage of everybody in your party at once.
So it sounds like the combat system is very elemental dependent.
Elements or physical or guns now. Or
so is physical considered like an element then, or?
Yeah, you could say it's the 5th element. You could, but guns are also technically an element if you want to look at it that way. And then there are status effect weaknesses. So it may not, I believe, if I think my brain's not malfunctioning. I want to believe that when I looked in there, I saw status effect ones as well. So it may not be enough to zap somebody with lightning. They may need to get the fried status effect before they get the weakness. But I'm not 100% sure on that. I have to go back and check that. But I seem to recall when I was looking at the list, like they let you analyze the monsters before you attack them. I seem to recall there's like a list of like 16 or 17 different things. So that tells me it's more than just the standard elements plus gun plus physical. So I'm not sure what those things are yet, but that's my guess, is it's status ailments of some kind.
Right.
But yeah, it's traditional turn-based. The only thing that is different than, say, World of Final Fantasy, as an example, is you have the bar in World of Final Fantasy that lets you know when everybody's going. You do not have anything that tells you when the bad guys are going in this one. So that's why it's imperative, like there's a real urgency to knock them all down as quickly as possible. Because you may not, if somebody's low of health, they may get hit before they get a chance to act. So that's one way that they kind of keep you on your toes. Let me make sure I didn't have any other... Justin says, I am 2 trophies away from platinuming Diablo 3.
Yeah, good job. That's
so thank you Thank you for crowdsourcing my my things there. Oh, Justin just added a question for reader mail, so I will add that here to my list for a little bit later. Anything else that we can think of that we need to talk about Persona? Like, I'm still way too early to give it a score. Like, on the scale of should you spend your money on this, if you are a fan of JRPGs or RPGs, I would say yes. Otherwise, consult your local streamer to find out more.
But not past July 7th.
But not past July 7th. Yeah. Paste. Good. All right. So with that, then let's jump to the news because we've got a ton of it. Let's see here. I'm trying to find the last podcast. There it is. Okay. Oh, yes, we have one other thing to talk about. Up on the site now at Gamersledge.com is our video review of Yooka-Laylee. Hashtag spoilers. It got an 8 out of 10. It's beautiful. It looks like it's a little bit simplistic in its methods. But at the same time, it looks like it brings the 90s platformers to a generation who either grew up with that or for new players have never played something like that. And it looks and controls like what you would have expected a Rare game to out of its heyday, which means that it's a lot of fun. So that is something that you definitely should check out. For more detail, check out our video review at Gamersledge.com. Final Fantasy 15's update 1.07 is now live as of a week ago, meaning that the Chapter 13 stuff has already been fixed, meaning I can play it again.
Well, that was weird how they did that too, because all they did was damage balance the existing in-story Chapter 13. That's all they did to the Chapter 13 that's a part of the game if you play the progression. Mm-hmm. The other thing they did is they gave you another thing you can access from the main menu to play an alternate version with different characters.
If you come up to that naturally, though, you play it with the menu version. Like, if you haven't got to that chapter yet.
Oh, really? I thought they said all they changed was that they damaged
if you haven't gotten to the chapter in your playthrough, you play the new chapter.
Oh. So they completely skipped the Noctis stuff?
No, you can choose.
Oh, okay. You can pick which one.
But you can't choose back. So if in your main playthrough you choose to play as Gladio and Ignis, you cannot go back to playing as Noctis. You finish the chapter with Gladio and Ignis.
Wait, so what should I do?
Whatever you want.
Yeah, but I purposely didn't. I purposely didn't go to. I was not pushing the story forward because I wanted it to be the new version. So, if I suddenly now have a choice,
you do have a choice.
Wait, so in the old one, you didn't have a choice.
No, okay.
Right?
If you have not gotten to Chapter 13 yet.
Right, but my question.
I'm answering your question. When you get to that part, you choose to either continue on as Noctis, as you would have before the patch, or you can choose to play as Gladio and Ignis. And if you choose to play as Noctis, there are changes to like his damage and the magic and like that, all that sort of thing. And if you're like, well, I want to see how the other side was, then you choose from the drop-down menu and play the other side of it.
Okay, so
but you can always but you can always go back and play the Gladio Ignis part separately from the main menu. So
yes,
it makes most sense to play
Ignis. Yeah.
Wait, it makes most sense to play what?
As Noctis. But if you don't want to, you don't have to.
But that's the old way, right?
Yes.
It's the old way, but rebalanced.
Yes.
Okay. Wait, so was the choice always there? This is what I want to. Okay, so before you had no choice but to play as Noctis.
Yes.
Correct.
But the new one where you play as Gladios and Ignis is supposed to be the new way that they would prefer you to play it.
It's an alternate way to play the chapter.
But I thought the whole point of them doing an alternate way was because there was something wrong with the original way.
There was never anything
There was
wrong
never
with the
anything really
original.
wrong with the
There was
original.
never anything wrong with it. It's just a bunch of whiny fanboys who complained about it, and Square.
Kate and I are
buckled
agreeing
pressure.
way too much this episode. I
Yeah,
don't know what's
I'm
going on
like,
here.
yeah, that's crazy. All right, fine, all right.
I understand kind of what they were doing though with because Ignis doesn't have his warp ability. You play it slightly differently to use abilities because he can't warp, and they adjusted the numbers for that to make like his magic a little more powerful, because it was useless when you were going through the chapter. So now they've made it actually useful, and they've like changed those damage numbers, which I can see is a bit of a complaint. Like, I mean, I guess
It didn't make it unplayable though.
No,
It was just
it did totally not make it unplayable. You could totally play without using any of the magic at all.
yeah, and even the sneaking stuff you didn't have to use. You know, so.
It was Mass Effect 3's ending all over again. It was not as bad as everyone said it was. Just a bunch of whiny idiots on the internet, and Square buckled under the pressure. Although I won't complain if I get to play as Ignis more. And Shirtless Gladio, because you get Shirtless Gladio as a prize for completing his episode.
and you're playing the episode Gladiolus combat, so you're playing Gladio. So you can only control one character. So
gotcha.
Well, I mean, yeah, because it's kind of hard to control Ignis late game.
Yeah,
I mean,
good, but
also more challenging for him.
Austin from our YouTube behind the scenes feed says that it's bull that you can't stream Persona 5, and then Kevin says that he has some localization nitpicks as well for Persona 5. Overall, it's been pretty good. Well, my big... Actually, if you watch our playthroughs, like every time the American voice actors say a Japanese name, I shout the correct pronunciation into the microphone.
Oh, they doing Ryu?
Oh, no, they're doing like... I'm trying to think of like what Anne's last name is.
Or when you
Sakura instead of Sakura.
Or when
yeah, that's exactly it. No, that's exactly it.
Overwatch people talking about Hanzo.
Yeah, no, that's exactly it. Like now, I gotta.
Although I will say, going back to the Gladio Ignis chapter 13. If you choose Shirtless Gladio, it's pretty hilarious that he's showing off for someone who is totally blind and cannot see that he's like, look at all my muscles.
oh, that's what it is. So like Anne's last name is Takamaki. Okay. Yeah. But they keep calling her
Takamaki?
No, Takamaki. Takamaki. And I'm like, it's Takamaki.
I get triggered at work all the time because everyone says manga instead of manga.
Well, that one, I guess I get it, but yeah.
But then
you were in Canada, so
manga. But then they always ask why is it backwards? Even though I hardly ever read manga, the only people.
Of course, we are reading the YouTube chat comments.
We aren't reading the chat at all. That person who we just read their comment, we don't read them at
all. So yeah.
No comments will be read.
Yeah. Destiny 2 was announced, and
oh yeah, I forgot about that already.
Destiny 2 was announced.
I forgot about that already.
And the funny part is that at the end of the trailer, it says pre-order now for early access into the beta, and I'm like, wasn't that called Destiny 1?
Yeah, you and the entire internet made that joke.
Pretty much, yeah.
Well, towards the end, it actually was a complete game. I think.
Yeah, but it's still yes, but it still had way too little content in it.
So here's my question though, because I quit after the main story, right? Which
was like 8 hours. Yeah, got it.
Yeah, exactly. What was the Nathan Fillion character something that got added in later, or is that unique to 2?
No, that got added in later.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, why is Nathan Fillion a robot? I don't understand what's going on here.
Justin said he pre-ordered Destiny 2 for the PC, which is new. It is coming to PC, so that is good. Probably because they didn't make enough money.
that game garnered such ill will. Like, I mean, truth be told, Overwatch does not have a ton of content, and people give Destiny so much more crap than they do Overwatch because
but those are two separate types of game completely.
they
Trying
are,
to.
but at the same
Overwatch
time,
isn't supposed to be this giant space opera, which
Overwatch doesn't keep like erasing your loot boxes to give you different kinds of loot boxes. That makes your other loot boxes completely useless.
God, I got the hiccups. I'm dying because this is, yeah. Speaking of Blizzard, StarCraft Remastered has been announced, due out this summer, and if you want the original ones that are not remastered, they're free. How about that?
Good guy
StarCraft
Blizzard.
is always too hard.
The AP has clarified that it is now esports, lowercase e, sports, all one word.
No one cares.
I still write
sports.
email with a dash. Sorry.
Yeah. So I want it to be known that this is Dave's.
Recreation.
Yeah, this is Dave's fault for not being here. I have not one but two stories tonight on the Nintendo Switch game 1-2 Switch. The first, both of them are scratch your head things. The first
Simulator
one,
1-2.
yeah, no, they're both about the milking simulator. That's what's hilarious about this. The first one is that a Vermont farm museum called out Nintendo on their Twitter account, saying that they could best them in a milking contest because they know how to actually do it, and Nintendo employees do not. They got into a huge Twitter war over this, which ended up with Nintendo supposedly getting on a plane this week to go do a milking contest against this Vermont fan.
If it's not
farm
Miyamoto,
museum.
I don't care.
Yeah, I don't.
It better be Miyamoto going and Reggie.
But the interesting thing is that it was like 100-year-old farm versus 100-year-old toy company.
I'm surprised Nintendo quits, actually.
Yeah.
Much less engaged in a Twitter war with someone.
That's what I'm saying. It was crazy.
The part that I found amusing was that it was I don't know, it just tickled my sense of humor that a farm museum was using Twitter. I don't know.
That makes more sense than Nintendo, because Nintendo's like
pretty much
ancient and archaic, and a museum has to appeal to kids. So, well, it doesn't have to.
Farm museum? How is that going to appeal to kids?
Well, I'm sure little kids, like preschools and if they got like a barnyard and stuff where they get petting zoo and stuff, little kids will be all over that.
It's Vermont. What else do they have to do?
This is also true.
Just kidding.
Teddy bears.
Love you, Vermontians.
They were Vermonites.
As a PSA, the Alamo Drafthouse is hosting an Inspirations of Prey film series, which is actually starting this week. But they're screening movies that inspired the developers, which is Arcane Studios, in the development of Prey that is coming up for PC and consoles. So that's kind of cool.
That would be interesting because I'm really digging... Someone's dead. I'm really digging the artistic vibe of Prey, so that would be really interesting.
Yeah, I'm really interested. That's a game that I am looking forward to, but I think I still got a month or two before that comes out. Let's see. As an FYI, this got buried a lot of places, but it was signed into law this week that there is a piece of legislation that went through Congress and now the President's office. That means that internet sellers can now sell your browsing history.
I don't think that was buried. That was all over the place.
Well, it didn't get as much coverage as other things. So
the fact that the Senate passed it before it got through got more coverage than it did after it actually got signed.
Right.
And then the guy who owns Cards Against Humanity is going to buy all of the senators' web browsing histories.
Which is an awesome sentiment. I'm not sure that it's packaged that way, but I hope.
Well, he said he has to figure out how it's going, how to do it. Right. Is going to take time, he said, but it's something he's definitely looking into. So you'll get to know which one of your senators is a furry.
It turns out that the author of the Witcher series made a huge miscalculation with CD Projekt Red's games and gets 0 royalties for any sales for the game. He sold it for a lump sum, this is something I had actually previously read about. And at the times, he sounded really pissed about it, but now he's like, "Ha, who knew? My bad." So it looks like
it wasn't that he was pissed about it. It was more that he was dismissive about it because he has said himself he does not follow or like video games. So he was just like, whatever. I don't care.
So yeah, he
and now
did
he's kind of like, oh, if I had cared, look at all this money I would have made.
Exactly, yeah. So yeah,
but
there's
to be
that.
Fair, I'm thinking like even CD Projekt Red probably didn't realize how successful Witcher would be.
It's pretty good. So yeah, I agree. Also another PSA.
Well, and to also be fair, that author is probably making a lot more money now on the sale of his books.
Oh, and he did say that that has spurred book sales, so it's not like he's not making anything.
Yeah, my store sells quite a few of them.
No, thank you. Sorry. Things in my head and to the audience that you didn't hear. So as a PSA, it looks like Rift Tracks Live is going to be bringing Doctor Who, the 5 Doctors, to the big screen. So if you are a fan of either Doctor Who or MST3K, that is something that I do recommend.
Do you have I don't think we posted this, but like 500 of the 500 and 100 or something like that episodes of classic Doctor Who are now available for streaming on a service called BritBox, I believe.
Yeah, BritBox has gotten a lot of things all of a sudden. Yeah,
$7 a month, I think. So pretty standard. I haven't bit the bullet on that one yet, but I will eventually.
Justin says, "I don't care. I have to not care. Cries inside about lost money." Yes. So, Matt, I'm sure you know about this, but I did not. Apparently, DC's annual series this year was to team up Hanna-Barbera 60s cartoons with modern day contemporary things. And as soon as I saw Suicide Squad meets Banana Splits, I was all over this. This is like an amazing thing. I cannot thumbs up this idea more. Have you read any of them?
No, I haven't. I just kind of chuckle when I see them.
So I did read the Suicide Squad and Banana Splits ones, and it's actually pretty good. What happens is the Banana Splits wander into somewhere, and they get mistaken for metahumans and immediately sent to jail, and Waller recruits them to rescue the Suicide Squad who has been captured, thinking that they're metahumans when in fact they're just the Banana Splits. I'm all on board with this, 1,000% on board with this. It's so dumb that I think it's genius.
As long as we're talking comics, do we want to hit the quick Marvel news too?
Which
that
one?
They won't have a big dumb event.
Yeah, this is what I've been asking for forever now, is just take a break for the love of Pete. I mean, Marvel, since Avengers Disassembled, at least, has been in a continuous string of events. I mean, yeah, you got your big summer one, but that rolls right into the fall one, which rolls into the winter one, which rolls into the spring one, which rolls back into the next summer one. It never stops. They're saying after Secret Empire this summer, they're going to go 18 months without a universe-wide event. That doesn't mean individual titles won't have their own events.
Right.
But there's not going to be a universe-wide event for 18 months, which they need. We need some palate cleansing. The universe has to stop collapsing. The heroes have to stop trying to kill each other. It's
I'm telling you, man, since Avengers, no, since what was the event where they wiped out all the mutants?
No More House of M.
House of M, thank you. Yes, since House of M, Marvel has not been a place that I would want to live. Like, it has been the most depressing, dysfunctional, horrible place. That's why I don't get the movies.
The DC cinematic universe.
Yeah, no, they just like switch them. I have maintained this all along. It's like for the last 15 years plus, Marvel is like the most depressing, deepest books where there's no glimmer of hope. Everybody's a bastard, and there's no way that you'd want to live there.
That's not entirely true. You're overplaying it.
There are a few titles, but for the most part, it is not a happy place.
No.
And DC, while having the same problems, everyone's hopeful and looking for the future and finding things to take solace in. And yet
Except
when they
for
put
Batman.
them on the... Well, no, even the Bat books have had their moments of repose where it gives you a breather and a break. But when they put them on the screen, it's like they swapped bodies somehow. It's like the Parent Trap for an entire company. And I don't get it because Marvel's all like, haha, hey, we got this to look forward to. And DC's like, everything's horrible. We must kill everyone. I'm like, what? Okay, yeah. So, I digress. Marvel, by the way, I didn't put this in the news either. But
Which is
Marvel
funny because DC's TV universe is totally full of, like, except for Arrow, because that sucks. But,
well,
like,
right, because it's
Batman.
Batman.
Like, The Flash or Supergirl. Or it's like, they're super hopeful and, like, they're like the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And it's, like, on TV. And it's just, like, Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. is just, like, bleh. And everyone's...
No!
And New York is ripping itself apart on Netflix.
Well, that is true.
But the only thing I don't watch are the DC movies. I watch the DC Universe TV shows. I watch the Marvel Universe TV shows. I watch the Marvel Universe movies. I don't watch the DC movies.
So, I have a question for you. Are you going to watch Wonder Woman?
I might.
I really want to.
It does
I'm
look really
afraid.
hopeful.
And it seems it's far enough out on its own, being the time period it's in, that
I don't know. Zack Snyder is like a blood disease. You can't just get it in one part of your body.
9 out of 10 Gamersledge. I'm sorry.
Zack Snyder's brain blood disease of movies. Okay.
I'm going to write that down for future use. I think we must put this somewhere on the site.
We need to make t-shirts.
Zack Snyder is a blood disease.
I'm working on the review for Ghost in the Shell in theaters right now, and there's a part where you see the villain for the first time, and he has one of those voice modulators for his things. Yeah, so it's
like a voice changer, or like the voice box for people who have had throat cancer.
It sounds like the voice box for people who have cancer. So they gave him basically voice modulation, so he sounds like a robot.
He sounds like that dude from South Park.
Yeah, kind of. And I started laughing in the theater because, ironically, because at that moment I realized they had not only cast a robot for the villain, but also for the protagonist as well. Because I'm not a big fan of wow, I almost did something horrible there. Of ScarJo's acting in this film. She's pretty much a block of wood. She took acting lessons from Nicolas Cage on his bad days.
I don't know. Nicolas Cage at least has some.
No, on his bad days. On his bad.
I was gonna say he's got like hilariously awful charisma. She's got none.
But Daniel actually proffered an alternative theory in that we have never seen her offset anywhere really, and that she's probably actually the world's first computer-generated actor, and that's why she has zero range, because she's a computer.
Maybe. Yeah, because we can't see her cheating on her taxes and defaulting on houses like Nicolas Cage does offset.
That's exactly correct.
She just needs to start screaming, not the bees.
So okay, we got to get back to news. One more piece of news.
Let's just rag on Nicolas Cage all night.
One more piece of news from the comics universe that I did not have in news coming up. Marvel VP had an interview the same day that I think the CEO was getting honored for diversity in comics, saying that diversity in comics is a problem and that the books don't sell and nobody wants them to be made. Then walked back to his statement.
He backpedaled so hard. He
oh yes, so hard.
That was at WonderCon, yeah.
Yes, and I'm like, why would you?
Last year's WonderCon.
Why would you ever even? They're trying to retcon it. They just haven't figured out that real life doesn't work that way yet.
He should just say "Hail Hydra." No, wait, I didn't mean it.
He should.
Yeah, I don't know what he's talking about because I don't watch the numbers religiously, but the numbers for Thor and for Ms. Marvel and
well, the thing I think
stuff have been
they
good.
might be down across the board because the so-called like non-diverse, hello, I'm super white superhero, are like middle of the pack in terms of sales. It's not like they're like burning up the sales charts.
Right.
So I don't know what he's talking about.
Before we get to reader mail, we need to steal the Declaration of Independence. Oh, I see what you did there. It took me a second, but I see what you did there. Okay, great. Yes.
Not the Declaration of Independence, no.
So one of the things that this isn't news.
That you don't say, mean face.
This isn't news, but it caught my attention, and I wanted to actually say, what a wonderful, weird time we live in for games. I saw that there is now a Train Mechanic Simulator 2017 out on Steam. That is actually...
I want to play Train Simulator 1845.
No, this is not Train Simulator. It's Train Mechanics Simulator.
I still want to play it 1845 instead of
that's
2017.
That's what my grandfather did for a living. Is he would actually climb inside and clean out the steam trains and then do mechanical work on them.
Snowpiercer?
No, like in the turn of the century.
I know, but it's like in Snowpiercer they had a bunch of kids inside the train making it run.
Yes, except he was the opposite of that, being a giant burly man that was as thick as he was tall. Yes, that was him.
It's extra thick.
Extra thick, yes. Final Fantasy XIV's free trial isn't limited to 14 days anymore. It is now limited to level 35, which was part of that, what started that whole push to go play it again. Guardians of the Galaxy, the Telltale series, will be up on April 18th, so that is right around the corner. Get your Ooga Chakas ready. Legion season finale, which I didn't talk about, but it's friggin' amazing. That entire series has been just this giant breath of fresh air and probably the best mind fudge that I've seen in a long time. So if you have not watched it, you really should. Let's see. Valerian and the City of a Thousand Planets, which is the next film from Luc Besson, just had a statistic come out that the actors spent 6 months in front of nothing but a blue screen. And so the trailer was the first time that the lead actor and actress in the movie got to see the movie. Which is
see what they were actually doing?
To see what they were doing the whole time. That's kind of crazy, but awesome.
Wow.
Niantic came out and said that trading is still something that they're looking at implementing in Pokemon Go, but then...
You still can't trade?
No.
I have not been following Pokemon Go.
They realized that if they do it wrong, it will kill the game, yet they put it in their launch trailer.
How long has it been since it launched? Has it been a year yet?
It has not been a year.
Not quite.
Yeah. But I have been doing a lot of Pokemon Go hunting lately, and it's back on the fun list. That's another one that I played. I forgot to list it off. I think I've gone into the city 2 times out of the last month just to do Pokemon hunting. and I'm still catching new Generation 2 Pokemon, so that's crazy. Ubisoft announced a Ghost Recon Wildlands post-launch plan, which is sad because I still won't be availing of it because I think that game was fun, but also not long life.
Fun but not fun.
So Mass Effect Andromeda debuted at number 1 in the UK. But what was interesting to me was a shift. Number 3 and 4, Lego Worlds came out last week also, and actually pushed Horizon Zero Dawn down to number 4, with Ghost Recon's Wildlands coming in at number 2. I wonder if that signifies a trend, or are just not enough people knowing, being exposed to how good a game Horizon Zero Dawn is.
I think the thing is, though, you know, like when a new movie that's crap, like opens in theaters, and it's like there for 1 week, and then it's like totally gone off the list.
Yeah.
But something that might stay around 3 or 4 for like weeks and weeks and weeks. That could be the thing. That Horizon Zero Dawn might have got pushed to 4, but Wildlands will probably not stay up there.
Probably.
Like, is it better to?
Yeah, long game, better sales. Hopefully, yeah.
I had a much better analogy, but you probably would have slammed me for not family friendly.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So one of the things I think we talked about previously, but I guess we've not mentioned it. We've not had a podcast to mention it. Is that the Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday streams are no longer a guaranteed thing. We've basically done away with the schedule for that. It's going to be Wednesdays for the podcast. Fridays we are keeping at 8 p.m. the Super Friends Fridays. But we may or may not have streams on Monday, Tuesdays, and Thursdays. We'll try and announce it in advance. I know for the next little while I will be streaming Persona 5. But there may come a time where I say, either there's not enough participation, or I find out that they are actually doing copyright strikes on Twitch. And if that is the case, I may not stream Class 7 in the game. Just because I don't want to risk the Twitch channel for that. So that's TBD. I will be streaming for a little while still, for sure. But there may be some other people creating content in that period, or we will be hosting other players so that you will have things to see. But just know that those are currently in flux. There may not be something on those nights. Power Lucky is gone from Facebook, which, considering he was absolutely silent since his appearance at the trial for copyright infringement, I was not surprised to see. But he will not be at Facebook anymore. I, of course, wrote, guess it wasn't his lucky day. Poor guy. Yeah, that's not super news. Nintendo Switch sales doubled from week over week. So it looks like the Switch is finding traction in Japan. They announced...
Of course it is. It's portable.
Yeah. They announced Gorilla Grodd, Captain Cold, Scarecrow.
Well, to be fair, Gorilla Grodd had already been announced.
Yeah, but they formally announced him
trailer.
along with gameplay, for Injustice 2, which looks awesome.
Robert Englund is doing the voice of Scarecrow.
Yep, which is awesome. CD Projekt Red announced that 25 million copies of the Witcher games have been sold. That was after the interview came out with that guy. Joss Whedon will be writing the Batgirl movie for DC.
Writing and directing.
Which got me super excited. And then they came out and immediately followed it with a press release that said it will be a darker, more serious tone movie, which makes me completely unexcited for it now, even if it is Joss Whedon. So
now when they say it's standalone, do they mean it's still in the DC movie universe and it's just not tied into any of the stuff that's going on? Or is it like the animated films where it's just completely off as a one-off thing?
It's
that would
like,
be...
because they said they're also not planning to do Wonder Woman sequels. So it's probably the same thing where it's like it doesn't tie into any of the Batman stuff. And it's just her own thing. But it will probably take place in the same world as the other movies.
Yeah, well, I truly hope they do not follow the animated movie, which just makes her look like a thirsty teenager. That's not how Batgirl should be.
Did you ever actually see it? Or are you just making comments based off of internet?
No.
Crap.
No, I watched it, and it was horrible, in my opinion. I thought they did her a huge disservice. As long as you've actually had an opinion to, as long as you watched it, okay. No, I did watch it. Because you're right.
I know Dave and I...
Yeah.
Dave and I were just like, okay, it didn't bother
I just didn't
like us, but...
I get it. I just didn't... I thought it was a... I thought it was a disservice to... I don't want to speak... Yeah.
Derail, yep.
Yeah. No, I'm not going to cover that. We missed it, so I'm not going to cover that. This is one thing that I'm actually hoping happens. The Secret World is relaunching as Secret World Legends as a free-to-play game. Now, we have this. We've streamed it. It is an amazing game. I'm super glad it's going free-to-play. And they're going to make money off of cosmetic things for in-game, which is awesome. I am hoping that they port it to consoles, because that is one way that they could actually make some extra money off of it. So I'm hoping that's the case. Nothing confirmed, but yeah. Mad Catz has died a horrible death, finally. They filed for bankruptcy. They were delisted from the stock market. Yeah, they're just basically...
Meaning they're still wonky. Rock Band 4 drums will remain wonky forever.
That is correct, yes. And that's from Friday. Oh, this is a huge PSA that I really do feel everybody needs to know about. THQ Nordic is doing a Humble Bundle sale in which they have over $300 worth of PlayStation games available for $15. PlayStation 4 games. Which is a great deal. So if you've been waiting to try out Deathstalkers or Red Faction, like, I didn't even know there was a PS4 Red Faction version. And that first Red Faction game is super fun. So I'm glad to see it coming to the PS4 or on the PS4. But there are a ton of games. Let's see what the full list is. For $15, you get Unwritten Tales 2, Red Faction, Super Dungeon Brothers, Deponia, Arcania: The Complete Tale, Chronos, Battle Worlds Chronos, Destroy All Humans, Legend of K Anniversary, Destroy All Humans 2, MX vs. ATV Supercross, which is a super fun game, by the way. Darksiders. I'm sorry. It's MX vs. AT Supercross Encore for PS4. It's Darksiders War Mastered for PS4 and Darksiders 2 Definitive Edition for PS4 for $15. So if you've got the space on your hard drive, I cannot recommend it enough. I just installed my extra 2 terabyte drive or 4 terabyte drive, so I'm good to go now.
As a USB?
USB 3.0, which means I'm throttled by the 2.0 on the PS4, but still, yeah. And it was super easy to set up, by the way.
That's what I've heard. It's plug it in. You want to format this? Yup. There you go.
And then you're done. Yeah, do you want to set it as where all your stuff lives? Yup. Okay, done. That's it. A court has ordered a cheat maker named Bossland to pay Blizzard $8.5 million in damages for bots and things that they were creating for World of Warcraft. They were a no-show in court. Now, this only does stop them from selling in the United States, so they do have a potential to make a revenue stream. They've boasted that they are going to continue as a company no matter what the outcome of the court decided. But still, that's kind of crazy. But it does set legal precedents. So now if you are making a mod that is somehow at some point deemed harmful for the community, you could be sued by the manufacturer of the game. So that's kind of an interesting thing. BioWare, as Kate said, is promising big changes in their next patch for Mass Effect Andromeda. I said on Twitter, sadly, the best change they could have made would have been to delay the release by another 2 months. At the Parappa the Rapper Cafe in Tokyo, that will be launched for the Parappa the Rapper anniversary, they are serving Parappa the Rapper food, which you can see on the screen right now.
Crack,
and
crack, egg into the bowl.
Yes! And now I'm trying to figure out if I can believe myself into a ticket to Japan to go get it before it ends, which is like on April 28th. I don't think so. But it's absolutely totes-adorbs. I totally want all of it.
Do you know why we stopped the car?
Yeah, I know why we stopped the car. That's because I just got my license. Valve says they're making big changes to Steam to stomp out fake games. They are going to empower their user curation teams and give them statistics showing how they are affecting sales. I think this is something I want to save for discussion for next week because it's a big one and there's a lot of meat on it. And we still have like reader mail the length of my arm. So we're going to jump through here. Agent of Mayhem, the newest game from the makers of Saints Row, will be coming out August 15th. I forgot this game even existed until I saw the trailer. It could be one of the sleeper hits or it could be horrible. It's going to be either or. It's not going to be a middle of the road game. Either it's going to be fantastic with no marketing and advertising, or it's going to be absolutely horrible. I don't see it coming in the middle at all. The biggest selling game last month in Japan was Monster Hunter 20.
20.
20!
I didn't know they were that far along.
Yeah.
Yes. I thought that was noteworthy. If you've not watched the latest Kyari Pyamu Pyamu video called Easter, it's great nightmare fuel as normal. Set to
Speaking
J-pop.
of nightmare fuel, who watched the trailer for It?
I have not yet.
I did. I liked it. I thought it was good.
Did you see the spin-off where they used what is it? There's a parody trailer that's supposed to be excellent also, that has Mike Myers singing as the Cat in the Hat, and apparently it's super.
Pennywise.
Yeah, and apparently it's super creepy. Like they're like, why didn't anybody think of this?
That movie was like, if you look back at that movie, that was total nightmare fuel too.
Invader Zim is returning to TV with a movie. Rick and Morty season 3 episode 1 launched as a surprise on April 1st on Cartoon Network, and one of the key elements of the episode was a Szechuan dipping sauce that they released around the release of the Mulan animated movie. Like, they made a huge deal about it in the episode, and it's prompted over 20,000 people to write to McDonald's asking for the sauce to be unretired since the new Mulan live action movie is coming out. And McDonald's chefs actually, A, I was surprised there are McDonald's chefs, and B, they listened, and apparently they're actually talking about bringing it back because of a gag between Nathan Fillion and the lead in Rick and Morty, which is hilarious. The Defenders got its first teaser trailer and reminded us it is coming in August. Excuse me. There was an article that said that
this Marvel show is watched by then.
Yep. Iron Man, we have already seen all of the scenes that he is in the trailers, apparently. So that's good.
Oh, in Spider-Man.
In Spider-Man Homecoming.
That's not surprising.
Yeah. And HTC Vive is on sale for $100 right now, but do not sign up for the Vive Port software by HTC. Do not do it because it tracks what you look at for ad stuff. Steam is fine. Install Steam, that's fine, but yeah. Looks like there will be a Bayonetta announcement shortly. Sega has a landing page of her boot and a countdown timer. Odds are it's going to be coming to PC. That's good. What the announcement's going to be.
Hopefully it's not a Switch only thing.
No, I think it's going to be PC. I don't think it's going to have anything to do with the Switch at all. I think they're just going to announce it's finally coming to PC. Ghost in the Shell died at the box office, $19 million domestically, but did open to like a $60 million weekend globally, but did not include China or Japan in those numbers. The biggest success about the movie, and I can say this from my review, the biggest success about the movie is that when you watch the opening credits, you see what an international endeavor this movie was, and that mixing of societies is very well represented in the movie. And so in that response, it almost feels like they have created this amazing thing between multiple countries. I will be interested to see what the Japanese reaction to it is. But yeah, it's not super great in my opinion. It's fine. It's fine.
Every time I see in the trailers or whatever where she's like, got the bodysuit.
Yeah.
All I picture is people who keep posting George is the streaker on Seinfeld when he was trying to get fired from the Yankees.
Yeah.
And he was in a beige body stocking.
Yeah. EA is sending 2 terabyte hard drives to EA Access subscribers who've been there since the beginning, which I think is a cool reward and good PR. Nier Automata shipments and digital sales have exceeded 1 million, which normally we don't get a number like that, so that's kind of interesting. But Square is very pleased with its performance. And then the first piece of Reader Mail, which is the second 1-2 Switch story for the night, is that PETA has called for a ban of the cow milking minigame in 1-2 Switch, saying
now I have to go buy the game.
Yeah, saying that it does not represent the horror and mistreatment that cows get when they are all the time leading up to them being milked.
Have they watched any of the streams of people playing this milking simulator? It's pretty horrifying.
They are claiming that Nintendo has taken all the cruelty out of milking. To simulate cow milking accurately, 1-2 Switch would need to show all aspects of dairy farming, including the way cows are impregnated, and then cows produce milk to feed their babies, but their young are torn away from them soon after birth so that human beings can use their milk instead. A mother cow will bellow for her calf days after the baby is taken from her. Perhaps you should add these sounds to your game in order to remind players that by drinking milk, people support an industry that separates mothers from their babies. That's from the president of PETA.
I haven't seen a single person able to drink milk from a Nintendo Switch.
That is...
Unless it's their own milk because of the motions that they're doing, but that's a whole other subject.
So I wish you could see my screen, because PlayAsia, the Japanese video game importer, burned them with a tweet, burned PETA with a tweet that shows a anime girl in a cow bikini saying the famous line from Meet the Parents, "I've got nipples at PETA, can you milk me?" What's crazy is that there's no actual cows, as in real cows, in a video game. So
it doesn't even show any cows on the screen, I don't think.
Real harm done to cows, to real cows by playing a video game. I'm going to turn... So this was a question, and the story was brought to us by Josh Stover, who asked, why is PETA so crazy? And the answer is, I refer to my light bulb joke on PETA. How many PETA members does it take to change a light bulb? 0, because PETA can't change anything. That's the answer. That's my answer to your question, Josh Stover. That is my answer.
They were SJWs before SJWs were cool.
I don't think SJW has ever been cool. Anyways.
No, that's why I would cool.
Tons of reader mail.
California. I blame California.
Level 14 asks, would P5 make a good MMO? Yes. Persona 5 would make a good MMO if they had multiplayer capability in it. Especially if they had trading, they would be ahead of Pokemon at that point, because you can actually combine them and inherit traits and everything. That would be a step ahead. So yeah. WWE Gamer Girl asked...
Pokemon Go. Clarify, because regular Pokemon games, yes, you can do all that stuff. You're just specifically...
Wait, you can combine Pokemon?
That's Pokemon. That's the whole breeding thing, yeah.
Oh, that's right. I forgot they had breeding now. Okay. Yeah, Pokemon Go. You're right. WWE Gamer Girl asks, do you have WWE 2K17? No. 2006 was the pinnacle of the series. Everyone since then has reduced features, and it's lost that special something. I've been waiting for a contender to come, but none has, sadly. Epic David asked, are you excited for Sonic Forces?
No.
I am excited for the game that just went up on the PlayStation 2 weeks ago, the PSN. What was the name of that game that I recommended to Dave, Matt, in the chat? It's a Sonic clone that has the main character as a female dragon. And just by watching a minute-long trailer of it, it has more joy and fun packed into it than all 22 of the last Sonic games.
Well, if it doesn't have Shadow with a gun, it's an automatic fail.
Because Shadow's all powerful, but he needs a gun, right?
Right. Because he's just such an edgelord.
Now I gotta find it real quick. Hold on. PlayStation.
Freedom Planet? No.
Yes, that is it. Freedom Planet. Yes, that is it. That is it. Freedom Planet. And there is a Freedom Planet 2 announced, because apparently the first one sold well enough that, yeah. But if you are looking for a good Sonic game, play Freedom Planet. Let's see. Next question. Card Stan asks, have you ever been to Japan? Have either of you ever been to Japan?
My sister has been. So I have not.
I have twice, and it's beautiful, and I love it. And it's safe, and it's amazing. Bendy asks, is Gamescom soon? No. I want to say it's after E3. I say it's towards October, if I remember right.
It's not for
August or October, somewhere. August, September, October, somewhere in that time frame. Hippie Jesse. What's that?
Gen Con, but that's not soon either.
No, Gen Con already happened, I think. Beginning of April, if I'm not mistaken. Or beginning of April, I think.
We're in the beginning of April.
Gamescom is until August. End of August.
End of August.
When's
okay.
Gen Con?
Bendy is from Germany, and she asked. Yeah, no, I think she meant Gamescom. I don't know how old. So.
Gen Con 2017 is August 17th through the 20th.
Okay.
Oh, August, that late. All right, there you go. Both in August. Hippie Jess, already asked that one. Josh Stover already asked that one. Vanity Love asks, should I get Orcs Must Die or Serious Sam HD for the PC? Both are on sale for $1.49.
Why not both? If they're that cheap.
That is an excellent question.
But if you can only afford one of them, flip a coin, and before you look at it, you'll realize that you actually want it to be heads over tails or tails over heads. Because you secretly want one more than the other.
Kate is going for her master's in psychology.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It works.
Yeah.
It totally works.
I personally say...
Orcs Must Die is like an RTS, isn't it?
It is. I think so. But Serious Sam is a first-person shooter, and it's actually a really tongue-in-cheek fun. That's the one I'd recommend,
Yeah.
Serious Sam. Bacon Guy asks, comments on the Kendall Jenner Pepsi commercial? No. No comments.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
Yes. Justin asks, what are your guys' opinions on pre-orders? Should you?
No.
Matt
I'll do
is a...
it.
Yeah,
I'll do
go
it
ahead.
every once in a while. Like, I might do it for Injustice 2, just for Dark Side, but I don't usually do it.
And I'm the opposite side of the spectrum. I completely do it every single time. There's a couple reasons why I do. I do digital pre-orders because I want it at the release date at midnight. I do physical pre-orders because I want to make sure that my store nearby actually gets a copy for me, because GameStop is getting increasingly bad about just ordering whatever their pre-orders are. So, plus, I guess for me, that's always been a thing. I've always gone to the midnight/9 p.m. releases to see other people, to talk about the games. It's a social thing for me, so I enjoy doing that. So I like pre-ordering.
Well, I live in a small town where they don't have midnight. The store is never open at midnight, ever.
Yeah.
Not even for the biggest game in the history of the universe. It would not be open.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense for me here physically. Digitally, though, download copies. I mean, you can pre-order it like 12 hours before the time, and you still get the benefit. You don't have to order it months in advance. You know, it's
sure.
I will if I have money, and I know I probably won't have money at release date, and that way I won't spend it on something stupid.
So I think this is a materially different conversation than should used games be a thing. Because I think one of the benefits of pre-orders is if you have a retailer that does pre-orders, those retailers report back to the manufacturer/distributor or developer/publisher. Publisher, thank you. In this case, what those pre-order numbers are. So if they have something where they're getting way more pre-orders than they expected, then they can actually start a content strategy to support people after launch in that fashion. So I don't think that's a bad thing.
However, every store having their own exclusive pre-order bonuses, giving your money away to a company that doesn't need it sooner than you have to, buying a game ahead of time that, because a lot of people don't just put $5 down or whatever. A lot of people just pay it off, or pay it off slowly or whatever it is, so now you bought a game that, maybe you're going to end up not liking, where if you would have waited a couple of days or at least waited till the review cycles hit before you put down the money for it, you wouldn't have that to deal with. Understand, people are willing to deal with all of these things. And until there's a reason not to, I don't think it's a good thing. I don't think it's useful. I think if it wasn't blown out of proportion, it's not necessarily a bad thing. If you're using it, you say, okay, I got my $50 now. I'm just going to go put it down so I don't have to worry about, keeping it off to the side or putting it in a different account or whatever. Okay, yeah, I get that. But it's led to the situation now where, you've got 6 different stores with 12 different DLC pre-order purchase bonus option items and collector's editions and Uber Ultra Extra Collector's and then first day Uber Ultra Extra Collector's edition.
Actually, I don't see that as much anymore. Like, you get extra stuff with pre-order, but it seems to be falling out of favor to have 7 different things for pre-orders. It was like way bigger 2 years ago.
Yeah, Ubisoft is the biggest offender there.
Yeah. Just pre-ordered it from, you got different weapon, different car skin, and
I don't know if I consider that a pre-order bonus though. It's a car skin.
Creamcorn
something you have to pay for otherwise.
Has been asking since the beginning of the podcast.
Why are you putting a skin on the car anyway? It looks fine the way it is.
Yeah, I've never put a single skin on the car, like not once.
Either. I'm just saying.
Creamcorn.
The decals are humongous instead of being like little bumper sticker. I was like excited when I got the cat car thing because I thought it would be really tiny, like beside the license plate, and it's like the size of the trunk.
You can shrink it, can't you?
I don't think so.
Thought you could resize them. I could be wrong.
Creamcorn.
I ran with chocobos as my side on my doors the whole time.
No, I have no decals of anything anywhere on the car.
No, I don't have anything on. I like it the way it is.
Creamcorn Gia has been asking since the beginning of the podcast, what's your stance on creamcorn?
It's
great
fine.
as a gravy.
I like it. I like corn.
It's good on mashed potatoes, tater tots.
Detest it. Will not eat it. It's too sickeningly sweet for me. I would rather take flour and water and make gravy if I need gravy. If I have corn...
No. You'd rather drink the milk from the Nintendo Switch.
That is a factually correct statement. That is a factually correct statement. And I will make
a pretty nasty gravy.
Delicious creamed Switch.
I will make the mooing sounds while drinking the milk from.
Wait a minute. This is not going a good place.
Flour, water.
This is going to wind up on Pornhub.
No, flour, water, and salt and pepper. That's all you need for gravy, really. I'm not recommending that's all you do for gravy, but that is a base component of white gravy.
That'd be some gross ass gravy.
No, it's not bad. If you ever eat biscuits and gravy, that's pretty much what you're eating. There's
milk,
sausage variants.
Milk, not water.
Well, yeah. I try to use
and sausage.
I do try to use milk, but I have known people to use water, and it is it's not that different. That's okay if you're not
biscuits and gravy.
That's okay if you're not a fan. Personally, I'm a huge fan of cream corn. I actually replaced my blood and organs with cream corn. Best decision I've ever made. More power to you.
Cuts down on the doctor bills.
Yeah, absolutely. That's going to bring us to the housekeeping part of our show. So things we have coming up for the site. We do have our Ghost in the Shell review going up. That should be probably tomorrow. Also tomorrow, look for our coverage. We should be live streaming at 6 a.m. in the morning for the Microsoft Scorpio announcement.
That's at 6 a.m.? Oh, it's your 6 a.m.
Pacific. Yeah.
Okay, that's like a normal time for the rest of us.
Well, it's actually happening in Europe. So, yeah. So, I think it's Eurogamer.
That's noonish? Yeah, early afternoon.
Yeah, early afternoon for them. So, we'll be doing that early in the morning. And I'm actually interested to see what they're going to show us there.
Hopefully they show some freaking games.
Hopefully.
Nope.
No.
It'll just be processors.
It'll probably be processors and tech specs. That's what I'm expecting.
I'm a real man. Look at the size of my teraflops.
Yep. Yep.
1.21 teraflops.
But we have no games. I don't know why the Xbox One failed. We don't have no games.
TV.
So that's going to bring us then to final thoughts. So we'll start with you, Kate.
Delicious cream corn.
Okay. Matt, final thoughts?
Oh yeah, we didn't hit this. Announced today, ordered not just a pilot, but actual. Was it?
New
13 episodes. New Warriors.
12 episodes starring Squirrel Girl as the team leader, but no other details on the rest of the team.
Nope, no team, no cast. I didn't even announce a creative lead or anything on it. I don't think.
No, but they did. Did they announce the actress for Squirrel Girl? I thought they.
No.
Oh,
well,
okay.
not that I saw, but that may have happened subsequently. But everyone's
I've seen things about people wanting to play her, but nothing confirmed.
Yeah, that whole Anna Kendrick thing from a while back, but nothing that I saw confirmed.
I have a feeling that would be for film and not for TV, but who knows? I'm secretly now hoping Darkhawk. Although there is a rumor that Darkhawk may be in Guardians of the Galaxy too, which I would flip my friggin' lid over if that was the case.
It'll be one of those things that's like way in the background though that you'd never notice unless
you shut your dirty mouth, Matt. I hate you so much. Why you gotta be a hater?
I'm a hater. I'm just a realist.
He would be an easy one for them to do. He's controlling a drone basically. You know what I'm saying? He touches a metal amulet and then controls a drone. That would be pretty easy to do, and he would look badass. So I'm hoping, but we'll see. My final thought is make sure that you support us. If you like the show, make sure you subscribe here on Twitch. That'll get you points. While you're in the Twitch chat, if you then go and follow our YouTube channel or our Twitter channel, you'll actually get extra points for that, and you'll get extra points every week that you stay subscribed to us. So that's pretty cool. So there's lots of ways to game the system, and if you want to know more, simply type !info in the chat, and it will tell you all about how you can accrue and then spend GL points here on Twitch. That's going to bring us to the point of the show where we leave you with a wonderful... Oh, no, we need to thank our patrons from patreon.com. So thank you, Naomi, Justin, John, Ian, and Bobby. And Regina. Yep,
you always forget your own wife.
Yeah, I got to think about it. So, yeah, beyond that, that's going to bring us to the end of the show. I know Kate's looking forward to it. Why don't oysters give to charity? Because they're shellfish. Until next week, game on.
Game on. Joke's off.
It wasn't a joke. Jokes are funny.
Wasn't his words.